Now that we've created our hole, let's try a slot. So we've done rectangles, we've done circles, and now we're going to go ahead and try a slot. So I'm going to go ahead and create a slot. And the reason why you're seeing that blue dotted line is it's telling you that if you create the slot, it's going to make it coincident to that circle, meaning that it'll also be an inch and a half up vertically along that part. So if I just come around here and I click here and I come over here and I click about here and then drag this up, just whatever size I want, close to whatever I got for that other hole, I click here and then I go right to Smart Constraint. So that's how I built the slot. Again, if you just leave your cursor on that, it shows you what it's going to do. Okay, and then just finish it, repeats. You just start at a random point, you select again at a random point, you click to define the radius size approximately. Don't worry about the size. Once you've created the part, you go right back to Smart Constraints or Smart Dimension, and you select the edge of this radius, and it defines that radius value, which I'm going to make match this, which would be a 1/4 inch radius, would be the same as a 1/2 inch diameter. The reason why this line and this line are black is because the radius is defining how far apart these two lines are going to be. Ironically, it's the radiuses that are not defined, because we know the length of this slot. We don't know the length of the slot, and we don't know the location of the slot. Okay, we know the distance between the two parallel lines because this radius defines that. This is a 1/2 inch diameter. These would be tangent lines on a 1/2 inch diameter, or continuation of an arc that's a 1/4 inch radius. So this line and this line are defined. What I would define next is my constraint. So we go to Smart Pick, and I'm going to select from this bottom line to this point. Notice that that's an 1.5 inches as well. So this 1.5 inches is controlling the slot. This 1.5 inches is controlling this one. Now if I say make this a driven dimension, say OK. If I double click this and change it to 1 inch, notice that they're both linked. If I double click this again, put it back at 1.5 inches, it knows to follow. So this dimension is linked to this dimension. So whatever I do here, it's going to automatically do here. So therefore it goes gray. So I can't actually go edit that because it's linked to this one. Well, that's fine. I've located it up and down, but I have not located it side to side. So I simply grab a constraint, grab that point, make sure to wait for that red dot to show up so you know you're grabbing that first point locating the slot, and then I can slide this down. I'll put this down right about here. Actually, I want to move it down a little bit further, and then change that to 3 inches. Grab this 6-inch dimension and slide it down. This dimensioning style is known as stacked dimension because they're stacked one on top of each other. ANSI ASME spec says that this constraint should be about a 1/2 inch to this one, and these two should be about 3/8 of an inch apart, and this one here and this one here would be 3/8 of an inch apart. So I'm just approximating, but that's your ANSI ASME specs. You can go look that up in our book, in the print reading book in Unit 9 about the drafting, figure 9-1. I'm going to just slide that a little bit better. Okay, so you'll notice that this arc went black because it's fully constrained. Yet down here, it's telling me it's under constraint. I'm missing a constraint for this corner. I am not going to dimension from the datum to that point. I want to create a chain dimension to create the length of this slot. So again, with Smart Dimension already active because it's gray, I can select this line and just drop this down here and line up the arrows So I'm arrowhead to arrowhead. I click a location, and I'll change that to an 1.5 inch length slot. This slot is now fully constrained, as it says down here. It is a 1/4 inch slot known as a full radius. So when you do your drawing, you would call that off as a full radius, so the shop knows we're doing a full slot. If you don't call off a full radius, these two ends could be different sizes. A full radius means that both ends are the same size. So you could create like a key slot where one is bigger than the other. The part's fully constrained, so now we're ready to make a solid of this part. So that will be the next demo.